Welcome to the module on linear relationships, representation, manipulation, and solution. In this module, we'll define what linear functions are. We'll also look and see how systems of linear equations arise in engineering and science problems. We'll use the knowledge you learned from induction and recursion to describe an elimination procedure that in a finite number of steps determines whether or not a system of linear equations has no solutions, a unique solution, or an infinite number of solutions. We'll talk a little bit about Gaussian elimination. We'll describe matrix vector multiplication and then look at the tools in MATLAB, namely the backslash operator, for dealing with large systems of linear equations. Let's start by describing linear relationships and go with an example. Let's consider a diet problem where there are m types of food. Just label them F1, F2, Fm, each of which supply some amount of n different nutrients, N1, N2, up through N sub n. Some foods contain more of one nutrient than the other. Let Vij denote the quantity of nutrient Ni in a unit amount of food Fj. Written as a fraction, Vij is the amount of nutrient Ni per unit amount of food Fj. For instance, there might be 1/8 of a gram of protein in 1 gram of oatmeal. Now, how much of each nutrient does one consume eating an amount A1 of food F1, an amount A2 of food F2, and an amount AM of food FM? Let's use the notation Ci to denote the amount of nutrient Ni. We want to answer this question for I equal 1, 2, 3, and so on up through little n. It's natural that nutrient consumption adds from different sources. If I get 1 gram of protein from food 1 and 3 grams of protein from food 2, then I would have consumed 4 grams of protein from their combination. Hence, the amount of nutrient Ni in the diet is the amount of nutrient coming from food 1's consumption plus the amount of nutrient coming from food's 2 consumption, plus the amount of nutrient coming from food M's consumption. Here, the VI's are thought of as numbers, for instance, 0.125 grams of protein per gram of oatmeal. And the amounts, AJ, are variables. This type of dependence on the amounts, A, is called a linear function. And thinking of Ci as a function of A could be denoted like that. We'll talk more about linear functions as we move through this module and the next several ones as well. Let's do an example with numbers. 4 types of food: prunes, oatmeal, orange juice, and sausage. The 2 nutrients are protein and calories. Maybe calories isn't a nutrient, but it's certainly an important measure of some of the content of what's in food. Here are the numbers for the protein. Grams of protein per grams of prunes, grams of protein per oatmeal, orange juice, and sausage, as well as the calories. So a breakfast might include 5 prunes, a half cup of oatmeal, 8 ounces of orange juice, and 1 sausage. And the question, which you can answer in the quiz, how many calories and how much protein is consumed in that breakfast? Go try the quiz.